This is Leighton Ali Talks TV. I'm Leighton Ali and I talk reality TV dating shows such as Ready to Love, Marry at First Sight, Love Island, Love is Blind, and The Ultimatum, just to name a few. So if you do enjoy that type of content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on when I upload a new video. Now, this video is going to be a bit different. I'm going to do a mini review of my one of my favorite shows, Larry David's Curb Your Enthusiasm on HBO. This show was comedic genius. This show is in its 12th season and I absolutely love it. 12th and final season. I love it so much and I just have to talk about it. But this show makes a political statement and yeah, I want to get into it. But before I do that, I do want to talk a little bit about what's going on the show. We see that Larry is still with Irma, and we're trying to figure out why because Larry pissed off somebody else in the city council. So they're not going to, vote the way he wants them to vote to repeal a law. And we're trying to figure out why is he still with Irma. He can't stand Irma. Why are you with her? Come to find out, Irma, I don't remember if she was the alcoholic or I think she may have been alcoholic and it's probably in AA. And Larry wants to break up with her, but he was told that if he breaks up with her, she'll probably relapse and, just have a really bad breakdown. And breakups is just not something that you want to do to someone who is struggling. So he's being a good person and he's staying with her, but he's literally counting down the days on when he can break up with her without her pretty much relapsing and just losing it. So that's why Irma is still around. And we're trying to figure out, like what, why this is crazy. We see that Jeff and Susie are still together. Jeff goes from gray hair to dyeing it brown. And of course, Larry's making fun of him. Now, Jeff really did resemble Harvey Weinstein. And on the show, people were mistaking him for Harvey Weinstein and, what comes with that. So he decides to change that look and go for a brown hair, more youthful look. And Larry, of course, is making fun of him because Larry doesn't change anything with his appearance. Now, we see that Maria Sophia is a breakout star of young Larry. People love her. She won an Emmy. She is an America's sweetheart at this time. Like she is just a huge star, surprisingly. But yeah, it's nice to see that the show did embalm with her and turned out really good. And she has like, a big head now because she is a star. So Larry has an appearance in Georgia. So he goes to Georgia with Maria Sophia and Leon. And Leon, of course, is still on the show. They go to Leon's Auntie Ray's house. And Auntie Ray gives Larry a pair of her glasses. And we know that Auntie Ray has some kind of button, like a campaign pin that pretty much says something about voting. Now, we don't know who Auntie Ray is voting for. We don't know what political party she's affiliated with. We just know that she plans on voting. And at the end of the episode, Larry has to go give her back her eyeglasses and he meets her at the polls. She is standing in line waiting to vote. And Larry gives her back her glasses, but he sees that Auntie Ray is struggling. Auntie Ray is older, she's overweight, and she is having a really hard time standing out in the hot sun in line waiting to vote. And she said that she has been waiting for hours and she looks very much distressed. So Larry does something nice. He takes water out of his car and he gives it to her. And then Larry is arrested because it is illegal to give someone food or water or food or any type of drink while they are waiting in line to vote. Yes, this is a real law. If you do not know, it is. Now, this, in my opinion, was a political statement because if you don't know, and I'm someone who previously lived in Georgia, so these are true statements that I have experienced when I go a little bit further in detail. But of course, we saw that Biden pretty much won the election because he won the state of Georgia. And for the first time in decades, Georgia went from Republican red to Democrat blue. And because of that, Biden won the election. And right after that, we saw a lot of laws go into play in Georgia specifically, and they were all around voting and pretty much like prohibiting certain people from voting and making all types of changes. Now, as someone who lived and voted in Georgia and have who also has lived and voted in other states, the voting in Georgia was the worst. The lines were very, very long. There weren't enough machines for voting. It was an awful experience. I remember when I voted back in I think 2016. I think I stood in line for a good over 3 hours, like 3.5 hours. It was ridiculous. I have since lived in two other states and voted in two other states, and I was probably in and out in 20 minutes at most. But Georgia is the only state where I stood in line for hours on hours and hours, and I also lived in the Atlanta area. So I can attest to the fact that um, those voting polls, there are not many machines, and you have to vote. I mean, every state they have different laws, and every state their voting process can be a bit different. But Georgia's, I will say, um, out of the three states I've lived and voted in, Georgia was the most difficult, unfortunately. And some people feel like it's done on purpose because Atlanta is known to be a Democratic area, even though the majority of Georgia was previously a Republican state. However, the Atlanta area is more of a Democratic area, and people feel like it's done on purpose. There are fewer polling places, fewer machines, so it causes long lines. Of course, standing in that Georgia sun, the humidity, people have to go to work, people are tired. A lot of people will not stand in line for 3 hours to vote. So a lot of people leave and they end up not voting. So what I remember in the previous election, a lot of like celebrities and people were helping. They were they knew the lines were going to be long. They were warning people in advance the lines would be long. Wear comfortable shoes, bring a lawn chair, and they were literally handing out water and granola bars to encourage people to stand in line and wait and vote. Now, of course, you're thinking, okay, they're not doing anything wrong. Well, honey, the law has changed, and no, you cannot give someone food or drink while they are standing in line waiting to vote. That is considered illegal. And it's absolutely ridiculous because why not have more polling places? Why not have more machines, or just make it an easier process for people to be in and out? Okay, and I have lived in two other states, in two other um, large cities, metro areas, and I have not experienced this issue, only in the Atlanta area. And people think it's done on purpose to discourage people from waiting in line and voting. Um, I think that this was a political statement. If I ever did see one, it did not endorse a side. It did not um, talk about any particular party or anything like that, but it did highlight a law in Georgia that is absolutely ridiculous. And instead of creating more places or, making it easier to vote, try to eliminate the long lines by making, putting more machines, or opening more areas. No, it's, you can't give someone food or water. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, unfortunately. But I think this is a political statement because yes, the law is real. If you are a Georgia resident in the Atlanta area, okay, let me be clear, within 45 miles of the Atlanta area, let me know if you have experienced the same thing. Like I said, this was my experience as well. I did have to wait in line for 3.5 hours, but I was going to vote. So everyone cannot do that. People have jobs. People may be ill. People may be tired. This is crazy. It's a crazy law, but unfortunately, it is a law. And we saw Larry David, let everyone know that, yeah, this is a law in Georgia about voting. I think it's a political statement. I think it was done very well. Again, it did not endorse a side. It did not talk about any one particular election, but hello, it's an election year. And come on, Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm, has never filmed in Georgia. He has never had to go to Georgia. The show pretty much stays in California. Um, I think he went on vacation a couple of places, but that was it. So I feel like him going to Atlanta and it randomly being, well, the show did take place in November 2023, based on when he pulled out the calendar to mark down the dates on when he could leave Irma. But yeah, to me, this was comedic genius, but he was making a political statement about the ridiculous law in Georgia. It's an election year. Come on, people, wake up and smell the coffee. But I feel like it was done very tastefully and very well. And I'm excited to see the remaining episodes in the final season. So please comment below and let me know if you think this was a political statement. Um, Let me know if you know anything about this, voting in Georgia, if you agree, if you have experienced what Auntie Ray experienced. Comment down below your thoughts. Thank you for watching. This is Layton Ali Talks TV. I'm signing out.